I'm Liz Patton, and I've gone off the deep end. No, really. Let me tell you why. It's because I decided to go pro with my music, my bluegrass bass playing specifically. I mean, how do you make $1 million as a bluegrass musician? You start with $2 million. Don't have that, so we're just going to have to see how this works. To that end, I'd figure I'd make a introduction video for those that want to know more about this wacky blue-haired bass player that runs around mostly in Texas, but it'll pop up every now and again elsewhere. Now, what I want to do with this channel, ideally, is to break down bass playing into small, digestible, and hopefully entertaining bits. I want to help other musicians understand why bass players do what we do. A lot of times we'll get feedback about, well, why aren't you doing this, why aren't you doing that? Hopefully, as time goes on, I'll be able to address some of that and what to listen for. I want to help with practical applications of music math, music theory, just like knowing how to add and subtract real fast and multiplication makes life a little easier if you have to do a bunch of math in your life. Music theory is the same way. Hopefully I'll be able to break it down where it's a little less obnoxious to have to deal with it. I also want to bring you along as I learn how to teach and in trying to go professional with this. It's a strange world out there, and we'll see how it goes. So who am I? I started on guitar at 11. I got connected in with the Austin bluegrass scene back when I was obviously young. From there, I had the classic teenage love story of summer camp. It was just out at Camp Bluegrass, and I fell in love with upright bass. And then, from learning from Camp Bluegrass, it followed almost give a mouse a cookie style that I would eventually go to South Plains College and get my associates in commercial music from there. Spent a fair amount of time with Joe Carr and his Celtic ensemble and Alan Munday in the Pickin' on the Plains bluegrass band that would tape a new set every 3 weeks for a year. That was a fun schedule to keep up with. From there, I decided I wanted to continue my music education, and I went ahead and got a bachelor's in jazz bass from UT Arlington. From there, I wound up having the common interruption of being young, broke, newlyweds, working retail, dealing with burnout from college because I pushed myself really, really hard, and jazz is not my passion. I went into a jazz degree because if you can play jazz, you can play anything. You've got the theory, you've got the know-how, you've got the technique to play anything. I needed more practice to be able to actually apply all of that. But anyways, so after that, I only got out occasionally to the local jam sessions. I'd pop up at the Bloomin' Bluegrass Festival or the Garland Square Saturday jams that'll go on. When I pop up, I almost inevitably get snapped up by a band. The last one I was with was the Quibble Brothers. I was with them on and off for about 6 years, I believe. Decided not to continue with them back in 2020 when they were wanting to get out and perform before I was ready to. As with many, COVID put a lot of change of perspective on things, plus hitting that midlife crisis of what I'm going to do for the rest of my life kind of phase. So I decided that, hey, tomorrow's not promised us. Who knows what's in the cards for the future? Why wait? Why not roll the dice, roll the bones, and see what happens? So I'm going to go all in on this, going pro. Worst that'll happen is I'll spend all my free time doing something that I love, playing music. I don't see a downside. Though Tika, my 17-year-old cat, sees the downside of I will not be at home to pet on her as much. Oh, baby girl. But anyways, I'm Liz Patton, that wacky blue-haired bass player, gone off the deep end, and hopefully you'll come along with me.